Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Fleekazoid podcast. Today's topic is going to be breakup themed, which is why you may have noticed the name, If You Love Them, Let Them Go. The point of today's topic that I want to make is about releasing someone with compassion, even when you are someone who is in a position where you might really want them, or maybe you thought you had a future with them, or you feel like there's a connection, there's no reason to break up something that feels good to you. And this can even apply to friendships or people in your life that are non-romantic as well. So let's say you are someone who is in a relationship, or maybe a situationship, or maybe just someone that you generally enjoy having in your life. What do you do when somebody that you value, love, cherish, adore tells you that they no longer want to have a relationship with you, or that they don't like you, or that they hate you, or that they feel like they can no longer continue any connection with you? Or what if it's somebody who's being passive aggressive? They're not telling you to your face that they don't like you or that they want to discontinue whatever connection, relationship, friendship, or whatever was there that you guys had, but you can tell through their body language. You feel like secrets are being kept. You feel them distancing. You can feel the relationship kind of souring, or maybe they even just like look at you in a weird way. They're less consoling. They lack empathy for you. The relationship's different, it's changed, they're not telling you they hate you, but you can sure feel it, basically. When we're in this position, it's very tempting to want to overcompensate for the lack of effort being made on the other person's behalf. You might feel like, no, I think I can change their mind. Actually, let me show them all the reasons why they do love me. Let me prove them wrong. I'm awesome, they've seen it at one point, that's why we even have this bond. We just need to get back to that place. We just need to work on our relationship. And because your intentions are pure and you want to make things right and you want to get back to where you were before because you value this person, you end up stepping up even more. And isn't it so funny, because the more when you step up with this type of person or this type of dynamic that's going downhill fast, you can find this person being resentful. You might even find yourself exclusively being the only one trying, and they're not even trying to hide the fact that they don't like you or that they don't want to be in the dynamic anymore. And it's so confusing because it's like, you liked me once. We were cool once. We were like the best of friends. Or maybe even, were you not just telling me how much you liked me? Were you not telling me that you could see yourself falling in love with me? Didn't you call me perfect? Didn't you say I was beautiful on the inside and out? Why? Why change? And while I can't fully explain why the people in our lives stop loving us out of nowhere, I can explain things that can help you get through that moment. And real talk, you guys, these are going to be some brutal, honest truths, and it's not going to feel good to hear. So trigger warning, put on your kneecaps if you're not ready for some hard advice. And the first point that I want to make is, whatever the reason was, it's honestly none of your business. Whether it's actually something that can correct your behavior in the future, a mistake that you made, a character flaw that was suddenly unveiled, or a moment between the two of you that made them feel like, this isn't something I can have long term, it doesn't matter. The point is that they don't want to have a relationship with you anymore. In fact, the point is that they would be happier without you in their life. Sadly, unfortunately. And I don't say that to hurt you. I say that because that's how it is for this person. The second that you leave their life, they feel more relieved. And if you're the type of person who's confrontational, who wants an answer, a reason, an explanation, or if you're even sitting there asking them, how can I fix this? Let me make this right. They're going to be annoyed, because some people already make up their mind about a thing or a situation and they're done. And if they were open to working on it and reconciliation and having something pan out to a better, stronger future, that's something that they would come to you with. Or they wouldn't even consider the possibility of stomping away and ending the relationship right then and there. And let's say you are the type of person who communicates that the relationship matters to you and you want to work on it. Some people are so afraid of being the bad guy and they want to look nice in a situation that they'll be like, yeah, we can still be friends. But they are only your friends by social media, like they follow you and keep you on mute. It's not your actual friend. It's somebody who's too afraid to cut off the connection because they don't want to deal with any more confrontation from you. They'll just slowly wean you off. Some people are afraid to have a conversation that dead ends a relationship. They might think that they will need you again for the future, or they might see the value in you as a person, but they don't see the value in having you as a everyday connection. Or worst case scenario, they are so afraid to have problems with someone that they would rather have problems within themselves every single day for not being honest with you and them about how they don't actually want that relationship, so they keep you around and they just tolerate you. And let's say this person is honest with you about why they didn't want a relationship or a connection with you anymore. Let's say they tell you that it's because they don't like your car, or they don't like the major that you have, or they think that you chew chips too loudly. Does any of that matter to you? And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that the questions and the curiosity going through your head during this moment is not natural. We're all wondering, like, it's impossible not to. But would it absolutely change your life to have access to this information? You're gonna get a new car to make them like you again, or you're gonna learn how to eat chips the right way? No. Does all that stuff sound stupid? Yeah, exactly. The reason's not gonna matter to you at the end of the day. The only thing that matters is that they don't want it anymore. They're showing you they don't care. They're telling you they don't care. And honestly, if you love someone and if you want someone to be happy, you're gonna let them go. Because think about it. Would you want somebody to force you to love them? Have you ever been forced to love another person? Does it not feel awful? It would be like, oh my God, like if you actually did care about me enough to want a relationship with me, my boundaries and my limits would matter to you. Now, imagine if that same person who is forcing you to love them, like imagine if you found out that they were learning toxic tips and manipulation tactics and communication techniques to coerce you or lean you into liking them more or into just interacting with them more. Wouldn't that be so unnatural and weird and feel like what is wrong with you? It wouldn't even feel like a normal relationship to be with someone who was actively plotting on how to gain more power on you. And there are variations of this, right? Like you can tell when a guy is doing this when he wants you to sleep with him, or you can tell when people are just trying to have a general outcome with you based on the conversation. I've dated people who have done this to me. I could feel it every step of the way. I could feel it in the text messages. I could feel it in the way that they behaved around me. I could just feel that the conversation wasn't natural. I could tell that they were trying to control the direction of the relationship. And I could tell that they were trying to maximize every single moment with me in a way that wasn't mutual for me. So if you love someone, do you really want your story to be, I manipulated them into dating me, I tricked them into falling in love with me, I somehow bamboozled my way past all of their hatred of me into being true love? No. And hello, if this person is genuinely happier without you, or they feel more relieved, or any aspect of their life improves because you're not in it, if you really love them, you would give them that. And I know that's easier said than done, but one of the nicest gifts that you can give someone who doesn't want you in their life anymore is your absence. And you can do it with peace, and you can do it with love, and you can respect it. And sometimes the happiest thing about a moment like that is just knowing that that's a person who's going to be better off. They're going to be happier. They're going to be relieved. They're going to be relaxed. You improve their life. Yes, by not being in it. This is not a fun comparison that I'm about to make, but it's kind of like being a man who's in the friend zone. Like you make the other person on the other end feel so uncomfortable about the fact that you can't just be happy with being friends. But in this case, it's not being in their life at all. Or maybe it's even operating at a lower emotional capacity, which is something that you would have to ask yourself if you are capable of, or if that's something that you are going to be okay with. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty firm in knowing what I want from my friendships and my relationships with men, like the things that bring me value in these dynamics. And if I had somebody suggest something that was the complete opposite of what I wanted, I would say no. And I say this as somebody who is coming from a place of having agreed to things that I knew I didn't want, and then watching myself go crazy and watching the relationship die a slow death or a fast one because it was something that I couldn't handle all along. And let's take out the word couldn't handle, okay? I'm sorry I even used that. It's something that wasn't for me. It's something that I didn't identify with, and it didn't bring me value. So what happens? I go crazy. I act out in ways where I wished that they felt stronger about me or that they wanted what I wanted. I push them away. And now, instead of being like, hey, this relationship ended because I knew that this person didn't want what I wanted, it's this relationship ended because I put my all into it while I watched them care less and less about me. Because ultimately, the goal wasn't about just having this person in our life just to have them in our life. The goal was to hope that they would gradually get to where we want them to be, to make them love us back, or to make them appreciate us back or value us the way that we value them. Relationships are built on trust and respect, and this person cannot trust you if you cannot respect what they want for themselves. So if you know that what you want for you and what they want for themselves is completely different, or even like looks negligent in your eyes, like it looks like something that is audacity, don't stoop to it. Don't cater to it. And have enough respect for yourself to know that you're going to be okay without that person. It's unfortunate, but one of the things that comes from trying to keep a person in our life that doesn't belong there by their own decisions is that we start to lose our own self-esteem. We start to see our own self-respect wither away over time. And it hurts so much more the longer you cling on to a person and you make that person a part of your identity, a part of your future story, and a part of your happiness narrative. Because then when you lose that person, whether it's a friend or a man, you feel like you lost your future. You feel like you lost your world. You lost all sense of hope. It feels like you have to start a whole new identity. And this is a whole other topic. If you want some help on that, go watch my No Man Equals No Value ? Podcast episode. Anyways, back to the topic. Being in love with someone and wanting them to love you back is not a bad thing. But forcing someone to love you is not something that you should ever have to do. It's not fair to you, and it's not fair to the other person. If that person truly feels like you're not a good addition to their life, the only thing that you can do to show them that you respect them and you care about them is give them the distance. This is assuming that it's a person that you've actually had an established relationship with, somebody that you communicate with every day, and then suddenly the relationship took a left field turn. Now, if it's an F-boy who keeps coming in and out of your life and leaving and then coming back into your world and making you feel like, why would he do that if he doesn't want me? Then you need to go watch the Block Him and Never Look Back episode. These other episodes are like 30 minutes to 40 minutes long, and I would love to repeat them in today's, but we do not have time for that. So seriously, go check them out. If somebody doesn't want to be in a relationship with you, the only thing that you can do is accept that. It's a part of the grieving process. It's gonna feel shitty. The only thing that you can do is respect them and leave them with one last good memory of you by not going crazy, not fighting them on it, and not trying to manipulate them into something that they don't want to do. And same thing too if it's like an F-boy who's coming in and out of your life. If this person had any respect for you, they wouldn't mess with your feelings and continuously come back around to serve you a shit sandwich. I don't want it to get twisted though. It's actually a great thing that you would want to change your ways, or that you would want to have a conversation or get to the root of a problem in a relationship. That's actually the things that need to happen. However, it's when the other person is telling you through actions and words and mistreatment that they're not in that place with you. So I know it's a hard pill to swallow, but the message today is acceptance, grief, and going through the process of mourning a person, but knowing that like they're in a better place without you in their life. And personally, I don't believe in making people come back to me or trying to do tips and tricks to like trick someone into like dating me again. But the times that I've been like, hey, you know what? If, me not being in your life makes you a happier person, I can accept that. People will turn around and be like, wow, you're actually like emotionally mature. Wait, I like that trait about you. Come back. But no, don't come back. Don't come back to these people. A marker of a person who is not toxic is someone who's going to work out problems with you and not be in and out of your life like a revolving door. If you've consumed enough of my content, you know how I feel about the men who have a history of on and off relationships, or who even put you through on and off relationships. There are men who can't commit to having you, and there are men who can't commit to not having you. So yes, that's where I stand on that. And those 2 previous episodes that I recommended are gonna go hard on that point. So when the time comes in your relationship, when you notice that things don't happen unless you send the first text, or things don't go down smoothly unless you're being overly accommodating, or you catch yourself engaging in people-pleasing tendencies that end up expending and draining you, sometimes you have to let it go, you have to let it fall, and you have to accept the fact that this is a person who is, in their mind, better off without you. And guess what? If you're like, hey, you know what? I'm actually going to try to turn it around and I'm going to deplete myself in the name of keeping this relationship alive, you'll be surprised because they might just let you. It's about having the respect for yourself and the other person when you know what they want and you know how they feel, not trying to fight them on it, not trying to manipulate them on it, not trying to coerce them, not trying to threaten them, not trying to scare them, not trying to cry your way into keeping them in your life. So that is today's episode. I know this is a bite-sized one. Let me know how you guys feel on my YouTube channel. specifically the official Fleekazoid YouTube channel, on this episode, which, by the way, I love the feedback that you guys leave me on there. It's very helpful. And for those of you who don't already know, I am Fleeksy on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, literally everywhere. I'm Fleeksy on everything. Go check me out. And if you like the content that I produce and you want to support me, did you know that you can do it for free by leaving me 5 stars on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you are watching me? And if you want to support me in making more content like this, my Patreon is $2 a month, where I am also Fleeksy on there as well. I would really appreciate it, but if not, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I hope you guys all have a good day. Bye.